Good day from Las Vegas. Welcome to Vegas Legends Winner's Circle. I'm your host, Chip Chirimbes, for College Football Week 13. Or is it Week 14? I don't know. My special guest, and I'm talking about one of the top handicappers in the country, Scott Pritchard. Scott, welcome aboard. One of the contest leaders, or among the leaders in Las Vegas, and two very high-profile contests. Scott, welcome. And why don't you let everyone know exactly where you stand in the Golden Nugget contest and how you're doing in the Circa Millions.
Right now, good to be on the show, Chip. Once again, I'm a big fan of you, big fan of the show, as you know. But yeah, the ultimate challenge is the Golden Nugget contest, 159 contestants. We go with 7 plays, college and pro, each and every weekend. No totals. I love totals, but it's point spreads only. Last year, I was fortunate to take 6th, and a few years before that, I took 2nd. Right now, as we speak, 1 game out of first, 2nd place. First place pays $60,000 plus. 2nd place pays $30,000 plus. They give cash back to the top 20. And then to your other point, the Circa Invitational by invite only. Last year, 16 of the world's best going head to head. It's college and pro point spreads and totals. I took 3rd place a year ago, a half game out of 2nd. Tony, the great Gordon, the Circa Millions winner, beat me by a half game, and Jeff Tetch, the mad Russian, he ended up winning it. Both those guys, top dogs, got knocked out. They've been cut. They expanded the field this year, Chip, to 25, and right now, with about 6 weeks to go, I'm in the top 7. I'm still alive.
That's great consistency, because a lot of times you see people come up and they get fortunate in a contest, and then they're never near the top or leaderboard again. And, for everyone out there, you can understand, this is a competition among the best handicappers on the planet. This is Las Vegas, where all the big money and the smart opinions reside and play every day. And I must tell you, Scotty, I got to commend you for being so consistent at the top of the leaderboard, not only this year, but year in and year out. So congratulations here. Good luck in the future. And we've got a great weekend set up. It's called the Turkey Shoot, I always call it, on Thanksgiving week. And we are, of course, sponsored by gamblersworld.net. And not only will you be able to get Scotty's picks at gamblersworld.net, but my premium opinion as well. And we've got big packages for you for the Thanksgiving weekend. Log on, follow by links. There's all kinds of offers out there. So become a big-time winner, and, maybe you can stuff your wallets instead of your stomach, right, Scott? Let's get to talking to the national championship. You play future, Scott, for the most part? I think you do, right? I mean, I don't know if you had any action on the odds to win the national championship this year, but
I do bet. They play the Star Spangled Banner every day. I generally have action each and every day. College and pro football, college and pro basketball, Major League Baseball, women's basketball. I don't care if it's 2 kangaroos in a foot race. But to your point, I have not played a future for the college football championship just yet, because I just see so much parity with a capital P.
Well, I have the comparative odds now as to when they open. Ohio State is the favorite at plus 260. They open plus 750. Georgia's the same. They're plus 350. They were the same at the beginning. Now, Oregon went from plus 1,200 to plus 400, and they're now ranked the number 1 team in the country, and yet there's 2 teams favored over them to win it all. Texas is next, down from 850 to plus 400. And Notre Dame, who I do think has a shot, Scott, not many people agree with me, went from plus 2,500 to plus 1,500. And Scott, the other thing I wanted to mention before we start giving everyone our selections here, and remember, give us a like and share, and of course, subscribe. We are here every week for college football. We'll be here for college basketball. I'm pretty sure about that. And this is Gamblers World Vegas Legends Winner's Circle. Okay, Scotty, top 4 teams in the nation are Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, and Penn State in that order. And yet only 2 of them would get a bye if we started the tournament right now. Oregon and Texas would play, and Boise and Miami would get in, along with Oregon and Texas. Ohio State, Penn State's out. Don't you think this system needs a little twerking if Miami's going to get in and Boise State's going to get in just because they're from a conference as weak as their conferences are?
I appreciate your insight, and you're 110% correct. I know it's fairly new. I know it's exciting for the fans, but yeah, they're going to have to retweak the system for sure. But to my original point, parity with a capital P. When you look at the top 4 teams, you mentioned Ohio State being the favorite at plus 260. I've seen as high as plus 290. but they are the odds-on favorite. But I mean, between those top 4 teams, Oregon, with Ohio State and Georgia and Texas, I mean, to me, flip a coin. I respectfully just don't see any value this late. And the system is a little bit flawed. It's a little bit unstable and uncertain. So I'm going to respectfully pass on any futures for now, but it's subject to change day to day, as you know, my friend.
Yeah, I know. And the Heisman Trophy odds are Hunter from Colorado is the odds-on favorite, heavy favorite there, and expected to run away with that. All right, there's some interesting games. I know my man right here is taking some futures or has some action and big interest in some games. Let's start with one of the bigger rivalries in the South that a lot of people aren't even aware of, Scotty. And South Carolina goes to Clemson. And these two schools wait all year to be playing each other. And Gamecocks are at the Tigers are 2.5. Seems like a short number to me. Total is 49. But South Carolina, Scott, has been really impressive in a number of games, going to Oklahoma and routing the Sooners. And they played pretty tough. 8-3 on the number. I mean, 8-3 on the year, 8-2 to the number with one game against a team where there was no line.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. You know, in Vegas, my friend, respectfully, it's not who wins, it's who covers. Yeah. And this time of year, I like to ride Captain Momentum in South Carolina, the Gamecocks, with a dominant defense. Defense plays well, travels well. You can play great defense at home. Conversely, you can play great defense on the road. Clemson, very good team. I respect them, Chip, but the concern I have with Clemson is they have been ice cold, 1-4 in their last 5 games against the number, and that's all I care about, cashing tickets or not cashing tickets. In South Carolina, they are 4-0 ATS on the road. They've won 5 consecutive games. I love teams that play great defense. Give me the game. I look at this game as a coin toss. You're going to give me 2.5 points, I'll take it. I like South Carolina plus the points. See the cashier.
Right, and even have Clemson here at 9-2 for the year. It just doesn't seem like they measure up against this Gamecock team. By the way, Clemson's won 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two in this rivalry, but they've only covered 4 of those games. And remember, Sean, like you said, we don't care about who wins the game. We want to know about the points for the most part, unless we're playing money line, of course. And you know, I see Clemson entering this game against Citadel, winning 51-14. And it sort of reminds me of Alabama playing Mercer the week before they went to Oklahoma. And they play a school like maybe they should be wearing dresses, but then again, in today's transgender world, that might be a formidable opponent. I just thought, coming off a soft game and then playing a big competition, I think the competition level is dramatically different. And we saw what happened to Alabama. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to Clemson here. After beating Citadel, my goodness. All right, another game I think you may have interest. By the way, I think South Carolina might be decided as well. I would take that before I would lay it. And it's just an early game on Saturday. Scott, are you aware of that? If it's
the Clemson game, I believe it goes at 9 a.m. I'll be up bright and early tuning in and hopefully seeing the cashier after the game. But it's going to be fun, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped.
I personally struggle with these noon games because I'm always, it just seems like I always get beat there. If I got a great underdog, I think it's a great underdog, and I get swamped. Last week I was thinking Rutgers might sneak in, and look what happens with Illinois. So, and it just, those name games seem to snag me, and I concentrate later in the afternoon, but I don't think if this game was at 3:30 that I would hesitate to play South Carolina. I might not hesitate to play them anyway. Now, it used to be the Big 12, and who knows what's left. Educators, they may be able to read and write and spell, but they can't count. We've got 18 teams in the Big 10. We got 18 teams in the Big 12. Scotty, Kansas and Baylor are going at it, and this is a great game. I'm considering where Kansas has come from and where they are now. Baylor went from opened a small favorite, and they've moved the Jayhawks to the favorite, which is kind of shaky considering Baylor's 7-3 straight up, 8-3 against the number. But here come the Jayhawks, and I'll tell you, you got to watch out for what they got going right now.
Well, I have to tell you that to my original point, I like teams that are hot, playing well this time of year. And right now, both of these teams, to your point, Chip, I mean, between the two of them, they've gone 8-0. 4 consecutive wins for Kansas, 4 straight wins for Baylor. Baylor with the home cook in the home field. And I understand that Baylor opened a small 1.5 point favorite. All the money, sharp money, unfair advantage players like myself are on the Jayhawks, and for good reason. I like teams this time of year that I mentioned earlier in the South Carolina matchup against Clemson. I like teams that play defense, but I also love teams that can run the ball. And don't take my word for it. Maybe ask Neon, Dion, Primetime, Prima Donna, Deion Sanders at Colorado, as Neal, the star running back for the Jayhawks, had 287 yards rushing on 41 carries. Are you kidding me? So I like Kansas as a small 1.5 point favorite to win. I do respect Baylor. I do respect the home cooking, the home field, the home crowd, and more importantly, their quarterback Robertson, who for the year, Chip, 26 touchdowns, only 7 INTs. It's going to be fun, man. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Can't wait.
Well, I like this game as well, Sean. We've had Kansas the last 2 weeks as best bets. They're big upset winners, and they're sort of in the same position here, except now they're giving points. I would want to play it on the money line. I'd hate to even give up 1 point, at this point. But Kansas also needs this win to become bowl eligible. So, they've got a lot of incentive here. Baylor knows they're going to a bowl. They've already got 7 wins. And that doesn't mean they're not going to have incentive here, of course. But like you said, I just think Kansas is hot. They lost that. They had that 5-game losing streak where I think they lost every game by 1 score, or they were, they had a chance to win every one of those games, Scott, and yet they didn't. So, I think they're the side here. I don't want to lay the point, though. I don't want to lay 1.5 or 2 either. And when you see the Vegas guys, the Sharpies, the people come and hit this game right away, and you were one of them, I sort of get forlorn that I missed out on that opening number. So anyway, this is Scotty Pritchard, world champion handicapper out of Las Vegas, one of the hottest people in Las Vegas right now. I am Chip Chirimbes, and this is VegasWorld.net. We're on Vegas Legends Winner's Circle College Edition, and this is for the Thanksgiving weekend, and we have a turkey shoot bonanza out there for all of you. So log on, follow the buy links, and become an A-play or a Sean Pritchard winner. Also push subscribe, like, and share, and you'll be able to get all our insights each and every week, not only in college football here with another Vegas expert, but also as well in college basketball, hopefully for weekend action. There are a couple other games out there, Scotty, that maybe don't have much impact on the nation, but they're rivalry games, and we always have some kind of interest in them. I know I always do, and you're always looking at that Michigan-Ohio State game. This year it's 20.5-20. Expound upon shortly on what your thoughts are on that Big Ten matchup. Ohio State, of course, looking to go to the national championship and actually favored number 2 in the nation. 20.5 over Michigan. Did you ever think you'd see that?
Well, no, I didn't. And I have to say that you can throw out the records whenever Michigan takes on Ohio State. It's
Right.
Tradition, Thanksgiving weekend. I love it each and every year. I respectfully do not have an opinion on this game. I'm just going to simply put up my feet, kick back, relax, chill, and enjoy the game. All bets are off when these two teams get together. I mean, Ohio State could win by 40, and then who knows, maybe Michigan could pull off a major upset. Nothing in this contest would surprise me. Therefore, I am running from this contest. I want no part of my hard-earned money on this contest, but I will be watching it, and I always enjoy when these two teams get together and knock heads.
I love it too. Michigan's won the last 3 meetings, but they had lost the previous 7 to Ohio State. Last year, Michigan beat Ohio State on their way to the national championship, but actually were outgained by the Buckeyes by about 45 yards. And we know Michigan went on to win it all. And Michigan was the best, I think, last year. Maybe Georgia, but Georgia had the unfortunate circumstance to stub their toe against Alabama in the SEC championship game. And we had talked about that, Scotty, about teams maybe making it to the championship game and maybe a tiebreaker, and yet they go in and lose the championship game. This could happen in the SEC, and teams behind them have better records. And maybe one of them that didn't get the tiebreaker break has not only a better record, they might have beaten the conference champion. Do they go to the final 12 and then they drop out the team that was representative in the conference championship game and yet lost? There's a lot of things they're going to have to deal with this, Scotty. Auburn, Alabama. Here's another one. I think it was 10 years ago, or no, 11 years ago. Auburn won 23-20, and they had broke a 10-game losing streak, and I had never realized that it had gotten that much. Alabama 11.5, 24-3 last week, annihilation by the Sooners at Oklahoma. Were they looking ahead here? And if they were, why were they? Because Oklahoma is now a member of the Southeast Conference, although we did have the Sooners, and they needed the game last week. Alabama, it looks like they're the odd man out when it comes to the Final 12.
Yeah, they're from the outside looking in right now. They do have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to win this game. The question is by how many points. And I don't know. I don't really dive into excuses. There's no reason for them to look ahead after getting embarrassed a week ago to this contest. Hey, man, they already had a couple of losses. So the fact is, you've got to line them up and knock them down each and every week. So the fact that they're favored by 11.5, it sounds about right. I expect them to win. The question is, I think they can just name the score. But again, no action on this game, but I'm going to enjoy watching the contest.
Yeah, Auburn's been a major disappointment, except for this past week when they were the A-play Megabuck winners, Sean, which brings our best bet record to 11-2 in college football for the year. Auburn, of course, did disappoint us. One of those two losses was against Oklahoma, a game in which they physically dominated until there were 4 minutes to go left in the game when Oklahoma took over. And, Sean, speaking about Oklahoma, crushing Alabama last week. Boy, what a disappointing season they've had offensively. Defensively, they can stand up. You saw that they only allowed the Crimson Tide a field goal the entire game, shut them down defensively against the run. Now they go to LSU. The Tigers may have been a bit overrated this year, and the Tigers come up 6-point favorites. That seems like a heavy number against the Sooners, who just crushed Alabama. Going on the road, the total is 47. Is that your out here?
I'm not crazy about the coach for LSU. I'm not crazy about the Tigers. They're a little bit erratic, inconsistent, but for them to be favored by 6, I think it's a bit happy. Points mean more than opinions. When in doubt, take the points.
All right, very good, Sean. I think they're expecting a letdown from the Sooners, who have been disappointing the entire season for everyone. LSU has lost 4 straight against the number. I have no confidence in their coach either. But the Tigers have gone 3-8 to the over. So they've gone under 8 times out of 11 games. Oklahoma's gone under 6 times out of their 11 games. Oklahoma's offense is limited. I think LSU's defense may dominate this game, or at least take over. That 6 is a very strong number, Sean. It really is. And after the way Oklahoma played, that would make me have a tendency to want to lay it, believe it or not, as opposed to take it. And remember out here, where's the college edition, Vegas Legends? I have Scotty Pritchard with me right here. Did I call you Sean again? I'm getting tired of making this error. But I have
only about 6 times. I'm starting to like it. I like Sean better than Scott. I like the way it sounds.
I'm sorry, Sean. Oh, I mean Scott. Listen, let's go.
You can
back
call
now.
me anything. You're a friend of mine. You can call me whatever you want. We're friends, buddy.
I wouldn't say anything like that. I might think it, but I'm not going to. Anyways. Kansas State and Iowa State. That seems like it'd be an interesting matchup. Not so much that I want any part of it. Total is 51.5. K-State 8-3. Iowa State 9-2. Iowa State, the host, under a field goal here, seems kind of short to me.
Well, I look at this game and, it's in Ames, Iowa. I'm talking the Iowa State Cyclones. They have a distinct home field advantage. I looked at the point spread. I looked at the total. And when in doubt, don't bet. They play the Star-Spangled Banner every day. There's opportunity each and every day. 2 kinds of people, those who take advantage when opportunity knocks and those who knock every opportunity. But I really believe, Chip, less is more. It's not how many you bet, it's how many you win. I'm going to enjoy watching the game, but I think the total is right where it should be. And respectfully, I think the point spread is right where it needs to be. So I'm never going to be pigeonholed or forced to make a play or even a lean. I'm not going to mislead viewers and listeners by saying I lean this way, I lean that way. That's chicken crap, in my opinion. Either you have an opinion or you don't. In this case, I don't.
Sean, Scotty, listen. I agree with you 100%. Less is more. We're in this game not to just have action. you shouldn't be playing a game just because it's on TV if you don't have a strong opinion or strong information. And we will provide that information if you go to gamblersworld.net. You'll be able to get Scotty Pritchard's selections, my premier plays. And right now, my top plays are 11-2. Scotty's one of the all-time contest leaders year in and year out here in Las Vegas. So you'll get a lot of consistency from him and a great number of totals, which I believe, Scotty, are your specialty. Iowa State and Kansas, I think it's a tough one. Iowa State's won the last 4 straight up, against the number, and they're 8-2 against the number against Kansas State in the last 10 meetings. It's a tough call because Iowa State's 1-4 against the number in their last 5 overall. All right, this is Chip Chirimbes and Scotty. I hope we all have a nice Thanksgiving. Don't choke on any wishbones or anything like that. But let our wishbones work, and we'll have a great Thanksgiving turkey shoot weekend, particularly in the college. I just love the way it sets up. We get a shot on Friday, Saturday, and of course Thanksgiving Day. So I thank you, Scott, and I hope to see you again. And wonderful time out here doing college football for gamblersworld.net. Chip Chirimbes, Scotty Pritchard. Don't stuff anything but your wallets this weekend. Good luck, everyone.